Hello everyone and welcome to my deep dive into how defense works in Elden Ring, so you can stop dying in Shadows of the Erdtree and even in the base game if you're struggling. I'm also going to show you guys where some of the best general defensive items are in the game to show you what a proper defensive setup looks like. So first off, let's go ahead and dive into the Shadows of the Erdtree separate scaling system, which I believe is the majority of the reasons why people believe Shadows of the Erdtree is so hard. I will say the boss AI does make it a little bit more difficult, but if you rank up this blessing and do the stuff I'm going to show you, it really shouldn't matter how aggressive they are or how random their AI is. It's fine. So first off, let's dive into the scaling for Shadows of the Erdtree. There's a separate scaling system in the Shadow Realm that you must increase in order to do more damage and take less damage in Shadows of the Erdtree. When you go to your bonfire, you're going to see this thing that says Shadow Realm Blessing. There are two types of blessings. You have the Scadutree Blessing and the Revered Ashe Blessing. The Scadutree Blessing increases your damage dealt and decreases your damage taken as you rank it up. Here is a chart to show you exactly how much it matters because we have actually found out what the damage numbers are. I've taken this off of the Physcial Life wiki. So you can see here that at rank 1, you have damage dealt is so at rank 1 of Blessing, you're dealing 10% more damage, and you are taking 10% less damage. That is from having one rank in this increased. If you look all the way down at the bottom at rank 19, so it's kind of front-loaded now to where you're going to actually take less damage earlier on, and then it's going to slow down how much damage reduction you're getting the further on you're going, but still, you can see here that you start off at 90%, right, damage just by putting one blessing in there, and then by the time you get down to rank, I would say by the time you get down to rank 18, you're taking almost half damage. By the time you get down to 19, you're actually taking less than half damage, right? So keep that in mind. I mean, really making sure that you get it to at least like 13 or 14 is very important, is going to be where you're going to notice the biggest change in how much damage you're taking in the Shadow Realm. Also notice that you are dealing more damage. So you deal 10% more damage just by getting one blessing rank into this. Now there's two numbers here. You have the green and the orange. The orange is pre-patched because they just released a nerf, or I guess a buff to this system, so you actually scale a little bit faster. And then by rank 3 blessing, you're dealing 25% more damage. And then if you look down at rank 19, you'll be dealing double damage. So if you're wondering, why you're not dealing much damage and why you're taking so much damage, the main culprit is going to just be the Scadutree Blessing. All right, so that's the first one and the most important thing. Now, in order to rank this up, you need to find Scadutree Fragments. From the chart, you can see it takes 2 all the way up to rank 10, and then it's going to take 3 from 10 to 20. You find these mainly by Miquella's crosses, but there are a few other places you can find them. You'll find them around at like little altars. You'll find, typically, if you see a church, there's going to be 2 inside of there. And then if you find hippos, the hippos are going to have one. And then after you beat Commander Goss, there's actually this little chalice where there's going to be 5 Scadutree Fragments there. So just remember that and keep that in mind. This is very, very important. I'm going to leave a link to a written guide that shows you where every single one is so you can follow along. You will be able to find all of these before you could find all of these even before you go up against Mesmer. You can find all these before you go up against the last boss. To be honest with you, I think the only gate is R'Lana. That's the only boss, and even then before R'Lana, you could still get this up to like 6, 7, maybe even 8. Because I think you do have to kill her to get through that castle in order to access the rest of the area, but I could be totally wrong about that. If you can find a way around that castle, well, guess what? You can pick up all these before doing a single boss. It's all just a matter of running, right? The hippos might be hard to kill if you don't have a good setup, but still, like, just do it. Put in the time, put in the effort, and trust me, you will have a way different experience. Okay, so the next one is going to be the Revered Ashe Blessing. So you can see on the Spirit Ashe chart that your spirit summons are going to be dealing more damage based on your blessing here and take less damage. So just at rank 1, they're going to be dealing roughly 10% more damage. At rank 2, 15. By rank 10, they're going to be dealing 75% more damage. And then you can look over at the chart here. You'll see that at rank 1, they're taking about 7% less damage. And then by rank 10, they're going to be taking about 38% less damage. And this matters a lot, especially in the Radahn fight. Radahn will absolutely chew your ass up in that fight. All your Spirit Ashes, to be honest with you, I have rank 8 currently, and the only Spirit Ash I was able to get to survive was the Mimic tier, and that's because he's an exact replica of your stats in that final boss fight. So keep that in mind. It's very, very important, and this also reduces the amount of damage that your steed takes as well, I believe. So that's also kind of a nice quality of life thing. So the Revered Spirit Ash blessings are a little bit harder to get, but there's less ranks. It takes 1 to get up to level 3, and then it takes 2 to get up to level 6, and then 7 and 8 take 3, 9 takes 4, and 10 takes 5. You're going to find these all over the place. There's going to be altars. Again, I'm going to leave another link to another guide that'll show you where all of these are, because this stuff is 100% worth getting. It matters a lot. All right, so now let's go ahead and jump into how leveling up affects our defense. So when it comes to our physical defense and how much physical damage we take, the main stat that's going to increase our physical damage resistance is going to be strength. And there are soft caps for strength at 30, 40, and 60, meaning that as you rank them up, you are going to begin to get diminishing returns. So you're going to see the biggest defense gains by getting your strength to 30, and then you're going to see some pretty big ones going from 40 to, you're going to see slightly less ones going from 30 to 40, and then it's going to get even slightly less from 40 to 60, and then it's going to get even smaller beyond 60, but that's the last reduction. The soft caps for rune level are 71, 91, and 161. So as you level up with your rune level, which is just your general overall level that you get for leveling up anything, there's a soft capped at 71, 91, and 161. So if you're doing a strength build, you are going to have a little bit more physical resistance than someone that's doing a magic build. Okay, so this is how physical resistances work, so keep that in mind, that your overall rune level does matter just in general for increasing your defenses, right? If you're a low level or you're trying to do things at too low of a level, you're just going to take more damage, and it's simply going to be because your rune level is just too low. Because, yeah, don't get me wrong, increasing strength does increase your physical damage, and I think having 30 strength, if you had like enough levels to do that, isn't a bad thing, just to kind of min-max your physical reduction. But the rune level is really the main thing, because notice that the soft cap is level 71, so that means you're going to get all the way up to level 71 before you're going to start seeing a reduction in how much the rune level is going to do for you. And then it goes up to 91, and that's 91 is going to be the next reduction, but then that one lasts all the way to 161, which is where you get the third reduction, right? And how much benefit you're doing. So you need to be thinking about these things very much so when it comes to your physical defense. When it comes to choosing your armor, I mean, really, you can kind of wear whatever, but there are a couple of special armors that do like some special stuff depending on wearing it. If you just want general physical defense, I think the Solitude armor set is probably going to be like close to the best, if it's not the best, because I mean, every armor kind of has better defenses in like one area or the other, but I think overall the Solitude set is like some of the best heavy armor in the game, and you can get it right in the beginning of Shadows of the Erdtree at a jail that's in the first area. You just got to kill the guy at the bottom of this little crypt thing, and then boom, you got it. The next one would be the Rakshasa set. This one increases your damage, but also increases how much damage you take, right? Those would be two pretty good armor sets. And then you have this Fire Knight's Helm that increases your health, stamina, and equip load, which is also pretty good. That would probably be my best armor recommendations, unless you were looking for something for a specific build, like Black Raptor Feathers or something like that increases your jump attack damage. When it comes to magic resistance, the soft caps for that are going for rune level are going to be 71, 91, and 161 again. So again, you just get magic resist for just leveling up. The soft caps for intelligence, which is going to be the stat that actually affects your magic defense, is 20, 35, and 60. So again, increasing your intelligence a little bit is also going to go a long way in order to increase your magic resistance if you're having trouble with that. Alternatively, you also have talismans, which is going to be what I'm going to talk about next. So when it comes to defensive talismans, you have the Bull Goat's Talisman. This is going to decrease your poise damage taken by about 25%. You have the Spelldrake Talismans. Now, these are based on a variant, so they can come in each individual element. So fire, magic, right? And depending on the one you find is going to dictate what it is. So, for example, if you have the Flame Drake Talisman, it's going to reduce how much fire damage you take by either 13, 17, or 20%. Based on if you have the +1, 2, or 3 version. They just released a bet, like an ultimate version, I guess you could say, in Shadows of the Erdtree. So, for example, I have the one for Holy. It's called the Golden Braid, and I believe it does 20% Holy damage reduction, right? So a really good thing you can do if you're struggling against a boss that has elemental damage is to find whichever Drake Talisman you need, depending on the fight, and put it on, right? For physical stuff, the best one is really going to be the Dragoncrest Greatshield Talisman. There isn't really going to be a whole lot outside of that, aside of the armor you're choosing, which I'll have a couple armor recommendations. But the Dragoncrest Greatshield Talisman is the absolute goat of physical damage. It is just like, if you really want to take less damage, just put that on and you'll notice a very significant, because almost every attack in the game has some sort of physical damage attached to it. So it's very, very, very good. Now, another way to further increase your physical damage negation is Boiled Prawn. You get this from Blackguard Big Boggart in Lernia of the Lakes. You have to do Rai's questline. You need to make sure that you buy her the necklace, and if you have killed Rykard without doing this questline, unfortunately, you have to go New Game Plus unless you've talked to Raya, because if you don't have a way to get her necklace from her and she does disappear and go to Volcano Manor, you won't be able to get this, but this is easily one of the best things in the game. And if you keep following Boggart's questline, you can get Boiled Crab, which does 20% physical damage negation, and the Boiled Prawn does 15%, and this does stack multiplicatively with other defense bonuses. Alright, so the next thing I'm going to recommend are incantations. So the main incantation you're going to want to run is called Golden Vow. This is going to give you another 15% damage reduction that stacks with your Boiled Prawn, your Dragoncrest Greatshield Talisman, and any Spelldrake Talisman that you have, right? So that's a absolute ton of damage reduction when you combine it all together. Yeah, and you find it just by doing a quick little run over by Mount Gelmer. So go over by Mount Gelmer, fight it. There's an invader. I get killed by it, but yep. And that's how you get that. Alright guys, just to show you guys what a build looks like and where to get the gear. So first off, to get the Fire Knight thing, you want to come over here, the helmet. Go to the storehouse back section, walk over to the left. There's a guy here that'll respawn every time and is very close to a grace, so you can just keep killing him over and over again until you get that. Greaves of Solitude. In the very first area, starting from here, which is where you walk into the place, just swing a left, kill the guy in here. Then to get the Rakshasa armor, you go in through the front gate, kill the hippo. You're going to need to do that to get your Scadutree Blessing fragments anyway, because it drops 2, I believe. Swing a left, it's going to come out and around like this. Then you're going to come right here over here on this pathway. And then once you get onto this pathway, run straight across. So you have an option to where you can go into the Shadow Keep. You want to keep running across, and there'll be a little ladder right here. You want to go down to the ladder. It's going to take you into a room with a painting. Hit a wall. It's a hidden area, and then it's a hidden wall, invisible wall, and then it'll go and take you to the castle watering hole. Run down the river, pick up this grace. Right here, you'll be able to drop down into the river even further from the cliffs. You'll be running on a cliff edge until then, and then run over here, kill the boss in here to get the Rakshasa armor. Now, when it comes to our flask, we're going to be wanting to run the opaline hardtear, and then whatever for your build, like whatever's good for your build. So for mine, it's the flame shrouded crack tier, because I'm using blasphemous blade, which you get the opaline bubble tier, or hardtear, right here. So you go from Farum Great Bridge or Bestial Sanctum, which you can teleport to from right here. There's a little teleporter right here that'll teleport you right over here to this. Make a short little run, and then kill the Erdtree avatar there, and then boom, you'll have your hardtear. Alright, so that's going to be it for that. And then when it comes to the actual build and what it looks like, so you'll see here I have a flex slot that I switch around depending on what I'm using or wearing. This gives me HP, stamina, equip load, but you can also swap this out for a elemental one like Golden Braid or Flame Drake Talisman, one of these. And then I typically run at least 2 damage talismans. These both buff my weapon special attack by about 15% in damage. And then I always run the Dragoncrest Greatshield talisman because it just gives me a massive boost to my physical damage negation. So when you combine this with Golden Vow and Boiled Prawn and the Opaline hardtear, you just get an astronomical amount of damage reduction, especially since I am also wearing, the armor of solitude. So I'll just go ahead and show you. Look at this. So I'm just going to walk over here to these guys. And this is what we'll do. We're just going to try on Golden Vow. And we'll go ahead and drink the flask too. And I'm just going to let these guys hit me. Come on. Come over here. All of you hit me. Look at this. I can sit here and just ignore all of them. Now granted, I do have Blasphemous Blade, right? Yeah, see? It really isn't too bad. See, look at that. It only took 15 hits to kill me. It's pretty good. And that was also elemental damage. So my Dragoncrest Greatshield Talisman wasn't even in play. And if I had Boiled Prawn on, that also wouldn't have been in play. So whenever you're fighting a boss, you'd have another 30% damage reduction on top of all that, right? Alright guys, so let's go ahead and hop on into a boss where I'll just show you guys how oblivious you can be. I'd never done this boss. It was literally my first attempt. I thought I had killed it. And then apparently I didn't, and then it respawned 2 more times, and I was like, oh, it respawns again. Oh, it respawns again, and it just didn't really even matter, right? Alright guys, let's go ahead and hop on into that. Thanks. Alright everybody, just wanted to show you guys what it's going to look like once you have all the defense put together. Going to kill this boss here with the Grieved Solitude, so we're going to go ahead, we're going to buff up using Golden Vow. Then going to use Flame Grant Me Strength for a damage boost, and then I'm actually going to go ahead and use Hallowed, which is going to increase how much damage I take, but I do have the Opaline hardtear in my Doohickey Mabobber here, so we're going to go ahead and do this, and then we'll walk in here to the Scadutree base. Come on now. Alright, start by doing this. And notice how I didn't really take all that much damage. Most of that damage was actually just from summoning my mimics here. Oh, hello. And that. Bam. Bam. And look at that. Literally, I don't even think I used a single flask. I just stood there and Blasphemous Bladed it all. And I even had Hallowed on, which makes me take 30% more damage. And I'm actually on New Game Plus 2 right now. And I also didn't have the Boiled Prawn on. So you can only imagine what it's going to be like here for this. So let's go ahead. This. Alright, come on now. Ooh, hello. Come here. Come here. I didn't even realize this thing had a phase 2. That's what's funny. Oh, hold on. That's funny. I'm missing everything. Yep. Uh-huh. Yeah, uh-huh. Not really taking a whole lot of damage here. At least not relative to the amount. Oh. Alright, I guess if you hit it in the head, it does more damage. Yeah. Alright, sorry, I take it back. I used 2 flasks. What the heck? Alright, is it dead? Okay, now it's actually dead. Wow, interesting. Didn't even realize that it wasn't dead. That's hilarious. But yeah, so you can see... oh wait, it's still here again? Interesting. Hold on. What is this? Am I missing something? What is this? This is a cool boss fight, actually. Alright. How is it dead? Oh, okay. Well, alright guys, I don't know. See, and look at that. I don't even know how this fight works, and it didn't really even matter now, did it? I pretty much tanked everything. Intentionally, of course, not because I just wasn't dodging it. Of course that was intentional. Alright guys, but anyways, I think it's going to do it for this video. Like, subscribe if you want to see more, and I'll see you next time. Thanks.